This morning we're talking about air conditioning in properties, in real estate. Out of interest, did you know the international temperature for real estate is, drum roll, 22.5 is the international worldwide accepted temperature for AC. We're going to tell you more about AC and property. Stay tuned.
Hey,
Zanthany.
hey, 22 point what?
Yep. 22.5 is the international accepted temperature in offices, homes in the worldwide.
I love it when you come on with a cheeky little fact like that.
I actually had to research it myself years ago because there was constant feuds in the office over aircon. It's too hot. It's too cold. What's normal? What's not?
Yeah. I'm just going to say that it's too cold. Throwing it out there, we live and work in a little ice brick.
Where are you? 20 to this morning. It's also too cold. 7 degrees.
7 degrees in GY, yes. Frosty morning, that is for sure.
Frosty. Now, a lot of people these days are putting AC into property. We're going to tell you the birds and bees about it this morning. Is it adding value? Is it not adding value? What system should you put in? Brands that are popular, the different types of aircon. We've got a big show. We're going to do it within 5 or 10 minutes. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's unpack everything.
Unpack it.
Unpack. There are certainly a lot of things to consider when you do want to install aircon. So if you're in a house, by all means, you've got a little bit more flexibility and freedom to do that. However, if you are in an apartment, then read your bylaws because you more than likely will need to seek strata approval depending on the type of aircon you want to install.
So, if you're in an apartment, how do you get approval in a strata building?
We'll talk to the strata company, go to your AGM if there aren't any bylaws. You'll just need to get approval. But if you want a portable one, that's fine. You won't need anything. But if you do want to install a split reverse cycle aircon, that would technically fall under a minor renovation, and that's when you'd need strata approval.
And so you go to Strata. Strata may have it already written in the bylaws. Strata may say no, we'll get a vote on it, and off they go. Interesting enough, it's adding issues to power loadings of buildings. Some of these buildings, if you're whacking in 80 air conditioning units into the power loading of the building, sometimes the building won't have the capacity for it. I.e., it may be better if you're moving into a new building to get it installed earlier than later. Most new buildings have them already now, but in DIY we've had quite a few built without them.
Yes.
Good old AC. Now, Xanth, the AC units. What's the difference between ducted, not ducted, split, I should say split, or portable?
Well, a portable one, that's pretty self-explanatory. That's one that you can move around the home. It's not interfering in any walls. You just have a little pipe that goes out the window for the little condensation. In terms of ducted and a split, you're really testing my knowledge here. I believe that ducted is when you do have it's wall mounted and the duct goes into the wall. Am I right there? And split is when it's hot cold.
Yeah, so the ducted is the vents are gibrocked into the building, so you'll see it's all gibrocked. It becomes part of the ceiling almost. The vents are part of the ceiling. If the AC ever fails, they'll change the motor, and that's about it. The ducting will just last forever. Although the split will have a head unit. So the head unit will be a plastic box on the wall, and with that plastic box, it's quite inexpensive to put the slip. And probably the most popular option is the split system, where the motor sits outside of the balcony, needs power, like you said, needs drainage, and then the head unit sits inside the living room, for example.
And I mean, this all came about because we were asked a really interesting question from a prospective buyer the other day, which was, if there's an issue with ducted aircon, is that a you issue or is that a strata issue? And that kind of baffled me a little bit, knowing that they are built into the walls. So what would that be? Would that technically be a you thing, or because it's built into the property, is it a strata issue?
I'll tell you what it is, the best way to get around it, fixtures and fittings, or chatels, when I went through TAFE, it's the intent of the tradesperson that installed it. And that is the easiest way for you to define, is the AC going to be strata's responsibility or yours? When the tradesperson installs it, did they install it in a manner that it can be removed, or did they install it in a manner that's quite fixed and quite permanent? So what you'll find with split systems is the manner that they've been installed. You can sort of rip them off the wall inside and rip them out from outside. That's generally going to be your responsibility from owner to owner, from tenant, of a property. Now, you'll notice that someone like Meriton, they actually have all the units not on your balcony. They've wired them all the way back to a central location. They've got the permanent ductings in the ceiling, i.e. you're not going to rip them out or off. The intention of the trades to stay. The responsibility is generally not the owners, it's more the strata's responsibility.
Interesting. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot. Just think about it, it's the intent of the tradesperson. Now, quick tip to everyone out there, if you want to half the life of your aircon, or give your aircon only 25% of its life, don't clean the filters.
Very good tip and trick. Absolutely. Yeah. Run that baby into the ground really quickly. Just keep it going and don't feed any TLC.
And you're going to smash it. Now, the reason why is dust will go. There's a extraction part of an AC, and there's a suction part of the AC. In that suction part of the AC, it's pulling the air in, it's conditioning the air to be colder or hotter, and then it's blowing out in the room. When it pulls the air in, it actually filters dust off the air, so that doesn't go through the motor, so the motor lasts longer. So if you're going to not clean the filter, it is going to choke the AC. Some people think they've got to get a professional to come in to change the filter, but all ACs are designed that the consumer can change them. Clean them. And sometimes just a good old vacuum of the filter.
Do it every 6 months. Make it part of your home routine, just to ensure that asset, that aircon, will last the test of time.
Also, AC versus gas for heating, cheaper.
Ooh, you think aircon's cheaper? I thought gas would have been cheaper.
Not anymore. They're so efficient, these new these split systems, that the cost of running them. Now, interestingly enough, what you'll find, if you can seal up your room, it's going to help. With maintaining the temperature of the room, saving you money, saving the unit, saving overall. And also, if a unit is maintaining a temperature, it is cheaper than bringing it in of highs and lows. So what I mean by that is, if you, for instance, if it's a really hot day in like a summer, and you put the aircon on at 11 o'clock when it's hot, and then you get the room down to its desired temperature, that's really expensive to do. Whereas if you turn that AC on at 7 o'clock and get it to maintain that temperature all day, it's so much cheaper.
Well, it's not working as hard to cool the room down when the room is already a sweat box. It needs to really pump into gear and chew through more energy and power to bring that temperature down. Yep.
So the AC is technically on for longer, but the AC is technically not working as hard and chewing as much energy and money.
It all makes sense. And
now,
brands.
Xanth, it's not. Oh, brands.
Brands. What brands
Now,
would you recommend?
well, I tell you, the cheaper brands are very, very good and very compelling to buy. But the problem is, if you're going to get someone out to fix a remote, if you're going to get someone out to fix it, like the unit itself, it's much harder. The brand that we've always stuck with is in our office has always been Dakin. It's always proven to be very reliable, very efficient. Another thing is noise as well, like a quiet, they're just proven in so many different ways, like maintenance, like not breaking down, like being quiet. Because if you're getting a noisy AC onto someone's balcony, the next door neighbour's going to complain. So I love an old Dakin.
Very true. Well, I'll give Dakin a testimonial because we work in an office that is very well cooled. It certainly does the job of cooling down the office, apartment, or whatever space you're in. So.
And another tip, I'd always do more in my AC rather than less. And people, I think, often just go for what's recommended. I'd always go probably 20% over what's recommended because it's going to give the unit less stress over its life.
Yeah. The Cold War.
The Cold War. Now, have we forgot anything? The pros of installing, I wrote some notes down. Comfort, improved sleep, health benefits, increased property value. There it is. Cost of installing, I wrote down, the installation maintenance, environmental impact. Yeah, it's not good for the environment. Maintenance requirements and noise. But ultimately, it seems like AC's definitely what everyone wants these days. Certainly in cars, it's always on. Not like the olden days, but certainly in properties now, I'm noticing it's always sitting on.
Yeah. Well, we are a very hot country, especially with those grueling summers as well. You do want to be comfortable. You do want to be cool, and having an aircon. Look, I'm all for it. It's the way to go, and it certainly can add value to your property as well when installed correctly. And approved as well.
$2,000 or $3,000 for an average unit, $3,000 or $4,000 for an average house. That is AC in properties. The Cold War.
The Cold War.
Novak.
Love it. I think that's a wrap.
Okie dokie. That's a wrap. Anything else you got to say, Zan, before you go?
No. Not on the aircon. I've got a lot to say, but just not on the aircon topic.
I know you do. This is the quietest I've seen you on the quietest topic I've seen you.
I'm just absorbing I'm just absorbing all of your information. Do you know what? Every property that I've ever lived in has never had aircon. So I've got all of my little portable fans in each room come summertime, sitting in front of them just sweating. So I think aircon would just be a dream. To have that in my little apartment would be amazing.
The problem is that once you get used to it, you can't do without it. I'd rather not get used to it.
Interesting. Well, it's a life's little luxury for me.
Yeah, it is. Because now, often I think, I know people get used to sleeping in a cold room and stuff, and yet they sort of can't do without it when they're in a room that doesn't have AC and it's a hot day. So I don't know. I sort of like not having it around.
You say this now, but just wait until you don't have it. You'll be like, where is it?
I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Have a great day.
Have a glorious day, everyone. Over and out. Oh, you won't have me next Thursday either. Billy's taking over me next week. I've got a week off. I'm having a holiday, yeah. See. All right, see you soon.
Take care. Bye.